Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. What was that? What was that? What was that? All right. Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. His name is Jimmy the Bag. This is Loshak in the Bag show for Friday afternoon, March 9th, 6 o'clock Eastern time. This is the last show before Selection Sunday. Yeah. Been a crazy week. Things have been going okay. This afternoon was pretty successful, Jim. I gave a bunch of unders on the afternoon games, and I believe most of them hit, if not all of them hit. I'll have to review. I didn't even check, but I know you've had a pretty good afternoon so far, right, Jim?
3-0.
Nice, very nice, very nice. What did you have in the afternoon? I can't even remember.
Well, I hit the Kentucky double. I had Kentucky and Western Kentucky. And then I got the day started. What did I get the day started with? I can't even remember now. I got the day started with SMU first half.
Okay, yes, very nice. That was a very nice one. Jimmy the Bag, the picks that I gave. Yeah, my totals all hit, Jimmy the Bag. Look at that. I gave the unders in George Mason St. Joe's first half full game, Memphis Tulsa first half full game, and Western Kentucky first half full game, and all unders on those, and all of them hit, Jim. All 6 of them hit.
Yeah. So that means that we're 9-0 so far today?
Well, no, because I also had I gave Kentucky on the money line, which is also a winner, but then I also gave Tulsa on the money line, which is a loser. So that was a loser there. So I was 6-0 on totals, 1-1 on -200 money lines, which is okay, and I believe that's about it.
So
yeah.
we are 10-1.
Yeah, something like that. And I also had a lean to the Kentucky game under, which I didn't give as a pick, but I definitely bet, and I mentioned quite out loud that I had a lean to that one. I also wisely stayed off the Alabama-Auburn game. Alabama rolled Auburn. Wow. Yeah. So now I'm not claiming that I had Alabama there, but I am claiming that I didn't have Auburn, which is almost feels like a win, Jim. You know what I'm saying?
We have people picking up static. Is that you're on? Sweet, thank you. We got Larry on the static.
Yeah, and as usual, a lot of my leans hit. Southern was a lean that I had that did not hit, but my second half under in the URI game, that one hit, and of course my under in the Kentucky Georgia game, that hit. So as usual, my leans were pretty solid. And once again, man, I think the thing I'm most proud of is staying the hell off of Auburn. Right? It would be easy to look at Auburn and say, oh, this is a great team. They're off of a rest and they're given some points, but they should roll here. And in the first half, they were rolling. But look at that. Alabama, despite playing on a back-to-back, came back huge in the second half and won that game. So, yeah, I'm proud of myself for having stayed off that one completely, Jim.
Yeah, man. Well, Alabama has a ton of heart. But I wasn't able to watch the game, which bothered me so much.
Yeah.
Big Dick Donnie said I cried myself to sleep after Auburn lost. I know Max took it really hard. And Max knew it was happening. So I wish I could have watched that game. My man Nostra Tota here saying that Kentucky twosome paid nice.
Yes, very, very nice. Very, very nice. All right, so let's get on with it. There are some other totals that I did bet on the overnight lines. On the evening games, and most of the plays that I bet were unders, which makes me a little bit nervous because I believe that our friend Al Mack, who yesterday predicted lean to the over blindly in all of the nighttime games yesterday, and he was correct with that. Did the same thing tonight. Is that correct? Did he say that?
No, he did not say that tonight.
No. All right.
He did not say that tonight, although he did give out 3 overs and 1 under. I studied all of those plays, and I only went with one of them. I didn't go against any of them, but I only went with one of them. When I mentioned the play that I was on, I found out that a couple of different people are on it, and Nostra Tota, who's just a monster, really likes the over, but we'll get to it when the time is ready for it.
Okay, that sounds great. Rui Duarte says, great night last night at Jimmy the Bag. I hit it another parlay thanks to you. He hit it another parlay. Very nice, Rui Duarte. All right. Let's see. So, what should we get to? Is the popping sound fixed, Larry? No one's complaining about that?
No, they're still complaining.
What? Nope. I'm not touching it at all. It's on my mic. Is there any? Are people hearing what I'm saying, or is it not even worth talking?
Oh, Vitalis says static fixed a lot better.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know. Okay. Yes.
Yes, better now, says old Bill Butlicker. Melvin Metric says, new to this show. Well, Melvin, we started off 10-1, I believe, today. It's a good day to be alive.
Yeah.
Let's pick some more fucking winners, man.
Maybe it's just the picks and the jokes that we're spitting in this show are too hot for the cables, man. Maybe we're just overcharging the ohm limitations on these cables and shit. That might be it. The show is just too hot. All right, Kieran Paulino says, sounds fine. Nathan Davis says, still occurring once in a while. Greg Schneider says, it's a little static for sure.
And finally, Gabriel Rodriguez has joined us.
All right, okay, well, are people still, I mean, I don't know what should we do? Should we just carry on and try to fix it? Are people still complaining?
They can hear you fine, but there's a bit of static.
All right. I mean, is it gonna make people turn off? Because if the ratings crash on this show because of a freaking technical issue, I'm gonna be so upset. Are people gonna click off this show because of the static? No, they shouldn't. But they shouldn't, but they will. You know what I'm saying? This is a very fickle audience.
Ulysses says not that much static.
Okay, all right. The millennials love me, but nothing can overcome technical problems. The millennials are sticklers for high quality tech. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Miss J says, I hear you, Pete. Let's get it.
Okay, let's go. All right, so let's get on. Let's get it. All right, Jake Bell says, I can hear fine. Jeremy M says, Pete, calm down, LOL. Okay.
Flipper13 says, winners, trolls, and hoes.
Right. Okay, I'm freaking out a little bit. But I think I'm going to be okay.
Oh, he says it's perfect.
All right, it's all good. All right, so let's get to some totals. I hope that after that little diatribe of insanity, I don't rattle off 8 straight losers here. But I did bet a bunch of totals on the overnights on the evening games. I'll tell you what I bet, Jim. I'll start with the ones that I definitely feel solid about. I did bet the under in Morgan State, NC Central. Now that line opened at 137. It's now down to 134 and a half. We saw the same thing with the Old Dominion game. I bet it at 141. I gave it as a pick at 138. Later on, it closed at 136, and I think none of that mattered at all. It went into the 120s or whatever. So I'm going to take this one. That's one for sure. NC Central under. Let me find it. 134 and a half. Even if you have a huge edge, always line shop and get the best lines here at SBRodds.com. NC Central, Morgan State under 134 and a half, and that's the current line at the Greek. Another under I definitely bet was the under in Utah Valley and Grand Canyon, and that one also went down a bit. Opened at 140 and a half. I'm going to take that one. That's now down to a 139. I'll take that one under 139 minus 110. That's a market line. This is a little bit of a tricky one, but I also did take the under in San Diego State, Nevada. Of course, San Diego State can be higher scoring, but they're playing better defense recently. Nevada, I took the under in Nevada's last regular season game against UNLV, and they went to 100 on their own. So I might have a bad read on Nevada here, but I did bet the under on this game, and I think I will give it. San Diego State, I think, is playing decent defense, and I think I'm going to give the first half under on that one as well. But I'll throw it on right now. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to give the first half under because if the first half under doesn't go under, I would not want the full game under. So I'm just going to take the first half under on the Nevada game, and we'll find that line. Also, people tipped us to Eastern Michigan games in general going under in the first halves. They played Toledo twice this year. Eastern Michigan actually won both times. Eastern Michigan might be a sneaky good bet here, but I'm thinking that the under might be a good bet as well. I'm going to take the under on this one. I'm liking the first half under more, but I will give both. So I'm going to give the Toledo first half under and the full game under, which is right now at 142 and a half minus 110. It's interesting that total has not moved. I would have expected it to move a little. If the market has any reason to like an under, it will bet these unders down, at least 2 or 3 points, as we've seen game in and game out. I think it's pretty telling that this line has not gotten bet down, Jim, the total.
I hear you. You're getting good reviews so far.
Okay.
Nostratota says, "Nice looks, Pete."
Oh yeah, I'm totally. This is my personal style.
No, I think he meant looks, like your plays were.
I thought he was saying I look cool because I try hard to look cool. I try hard to look cool as I do with my picks. All right. Also, I am gonna take another one. This is a little bit tricky, but I am gonna take the Arkansas Florida under. It opened at 146. There's now a 145 at the Greek. I'll take the under 145 minus 110 in that one. Again, Arkansas playing better defense. Florida can play better defense too, and I think that's a decent play. All right, here we go. UNC Duke. Again, I took Duke in the under in that Virginia Tech game a few games ago. Great call on that one by me. Then I took the under again in the Duke game against Notre Dame yesterday. Awful call. What happened there, Jim? I think I'm going to take the unders in this one. What do you think? Yeah, I'm sure you looked at this game.
I did look at this game. I'm not making a play on it. I lost with North Carolina last time these two teams played. North Carolina had a nice juicy lead after a half and got trashed. Almac thinks that these lines are too low for Duke games right now. Everybody noticing their improved defensive play. I find it a very tricky spot, and I'm off of it.
And just your 2-second sense of the total. If someone said they really like the under, what would you say, Jim?
Well, I'll tell you what. Almac really likes the over.
Really?
And
in the UNC Duke game?
Yes, and I'm not on it.
Almac really likes the over in the UNC
Well, it's one of the
Duke
three plays that one of the three overs that he sent out.
No shit. All right, well, I'm going to scratch my head a little bit on that one. Think about it a little bit. The Toledo under, man, look at that one. The first half total is 66.5 minus 120. Now, once again, I'll say it again. We've seen the market just jumps all over unders on these games. Some that are obvious, some that are not so obvious. But we see the totals open, bam, hit down 2, 3, 4, 5 points. This is a game, if any, that you would expect under, at least a little under money to come in, and it has not. It has not. A slight move to the under on the first half, but just moving the money line and no move on the full game total. That's very, very weird, Jim.
It is weird. Watching all these lines move towards the under is makes things a little tricky.
All right, I will. I'll take it. I'll take the under. First half under 66.5. Eastern Michigan Toledo. It's going to be minus 120, which is the line now at Pinnacle and Bet Online. And I'm also on the full game under on this one. But I'm on the record as saying that I think that the fact that this line has not moved to the under is pretty telling and makes me nervous. But I'm going to throw it on there anyway. All right, let me find the San Diego State Nevada game.
Well, let me just say that Bart Nelson says under in Duke game, likes it. Yeah, Joel Berry banged up. Jake Bell says Duke and under. Now Kieran Paulino comes in and says Duke over. It's a tricky spot for sure, and I'm thankful not to be on it.
All right, I'm taking the first half under again in San Diego State, Nevada. Best line will be 70.5 minus 120 at Pinnacle. Again, I would lean to the full game under as well. Probably have a second half play on that if something unique happens in the first half. But if the first half doesn't go under, I don't think I'd want to be doubling up on the under as well. So I'll just take the first half under on that one, and that's it for now. Let me just scan my picks here. We'll talk about Wichita State. We will get to that one. The Utah Valley under, I liked that one. The Duke under, look, I like the Duke under. Also, the UCLA-Arizona game, did you look at that one, Jim? Because I'm thinking under on that one as well.
No, I haven't got to that game. I have not. But I believe you said the Utah Valley Grand Canyon under.
I hit that one.
I am on that as well.
Okay.
Nostra is on that as well.
Okay.
I would like to be locked in there. Sorry, my man Salazar just came in, gave us a Mendelssohn as a big Kentucky Derby play coming up. And I thank you, Salazar. We're just crazy busy today, but man, it's nice to see you back in action. So Utah Valley lost Jake Toulson to a medical issue after the game. So he's out indefinitely. He went for 19.7 boards last night. These teams are both great defensively. Losing Toulson's going to hurt. Utah Valley's 54th in the nation, allowing just 67.5 points a game. Grand Canyon, even better defensively, 17th, allowing just 64.6 points per game. UVU won the first meeting at home, 68-56, low-scoring game. And Grand Canyon won the second meeting, even a lower-score game, 60-59. Utah Valley defends the perimeter very well, but Grand Canyon shoots threes so poorly that they might not even need to defend it that well. I'm on the full game under.
Okay, again, we're getting 139 minus 110, and I'm also going to double up on this one. I'll take the first half under. I could take 64.5 minus 110 at UWager. Everyone else has 64, but I'm going to take the current Pinnacle line, which is 65 minus 131. It's it's a high money line there, but I'm going to take Utah Valley Grand Canyon first half under 65 minus 131, and Jim and I are both on the full game under at 139.
Scotty Rock's also on that under with us, and then Jeremy M says, Pete, I am tailing that San Diego State Nevada under. I think it's a good spot.
During the regular season, I was hitting a lot of first half overs in the Mountain West involving these teams. A lot of times I had overs, around 68, 69, 70 involving these kinds of teams, Nevada, Boise, San Diego State, and that was one of my best consistent plays on the year. San Diego State, of course, was playing a higher paced game this year, and we know what Nevada does. So I was hitting a lot of first half overs successfully in the Mountain West in this range during the regular season. But I'm thinking that this one, at least to start, might be a little bit more modest scoring. I'm not sure of it, which is why I'm not doubling up. I would also have a lean to the under on the full game. That's definitely going in my leans column for this show. But the only official pick I'll make is on the first half under. Again, both these teams can play fast-paced, and if they do, the first half will go over. But I think more likely than not, we're going to see another good defensive effort from San Diego State, and I will take the first half under. The more I talk about it, the more I like it. All right, Jim.
Salazar's with you on the under in Arkansas.
Yes, I'm on that one. That one has dropped down a little bit as well. I feel like I have a pretty good feel for the totals so far today. Starting things off 6-0 with first halves and full games. Jim, what else do you like, and what do you want to bring to our attention from this college basketball card, Jim?
Beautiful. Well, I've already given out Troy and Richmond, and those games have just started. Troy's down 12-2. It's
nice.
early.
Yeah.
And Richmond and the Bonnies are tied at 7. So I have the first play I'm going to give out is the Butler versus Villanova over.
Okay.
Butler beat Nova 101-93 at home the first time they met. This is a total that both Al Mack and Nostra Tota like, which gives me a lot of confidence in it. In the first time when they played 101-93, Butler went 15 for 22 from 3 in that game. Obviously, they're not going to be able to keep that up. When they played again, they went 12 for 29 from 3. They want to go shot for shot with Nova. They want to run with Nova. Nova has the number 1 offense in the nation at 87.4 points. Butler doesn't have a nasty defense. They have to beat them with offense. Kamar Baldwin, Jorgensen want to go toe-to-toe with Brunson and Bridges. I think that's what's going to happen. I think there's going to be a lot of pace. I like this total. I'm on the full game over. Jake Bell comes in, says Nova and the over. I am on the over.
All right, 149.5 minus 109 is the current line at Bookmaker, and that is probably a good play because that's the one game that I really did not think that was maybe a good play on the under. So that's probably a good sign there for you, Jim. 149.5 minus 109. All right, I'm also thinking about under in Nicholls State, Stephen F. Austin. Thinking about under in UCLA, Arizona. Thinking about the first half under in Duke UNC, and maybe I'll throw on the first half under actually on that one. And then the Kent State Buffalo game, very interesting. I'm thinking about a shot with an under on that one. I know Buffalo loves to play a high scoring game, but in this spot, not sure we're likely to see this one get to 160. And then Wichita State is an interesting game. I don't know if you look at that one, Jim, but feels like Wichita State, of course, they played Temple twice this year. Both games were tight. Temple is a team that I'm not too high on in general right now. Not low on them, but not high on them. Wichita State might roll here and get some revenge here. What do you think?
They might roll, and they're clearly playing better right now. I've had a tough time figuring out when they're going to roll and when they're not, and little gun shy with them right now, and I focused on other games.
Okay, what else are you liking, Jim?
I am on Northern Colorado.
Okay.
Full game versus Montana. Northern Colorado is rolling.
Yes.
They destroyed Northern Arizona. We know Northern Arizona is terrible by 23 to get the tournament started. Then they beat Weber State by 25 last night after losing to them in both meetings this year. Now they play the number 1 team in the conference that also beat them both times they met this year. This is what March is all about. They've won 6 of 7. Cinderella has a name, and it's Northern Colorado.
I was thinking that way as well, Jim. I'll be perfectly honest here. +4 minus 105 is the best line right now at Bookmaker. That's how I was feeling as well, Jim. I guess I'm still thinking a little. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, that's a friggin' stale line. +4 minus 110 is what we're going to give you. +4 minus 110, Northern Colorado and Montana. Sorry about that.
No
Just
problem.
a stale line.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right. I was feeling that way as well. I didn't have a chance to look too in depth to see exactly how much of a corner Northern Colorado turned and how vulnerable Montana is, but definitely my preliminary analysis.
I like what's coming in. Melee Payless Way, Northern Colorado,
Yeah.
Bart Nelson, Northern Colorado +4.
Yes.
Great play. I like this spot a lot. Nostra Tota likes Northern Colorado. I feel like this is a great spot. Teams come up in this time of year.
Yes, they do.
And when they get the momentum and they start rolling,
don't
and they
be
start
afraid to jump on them.
themselves.
Yes. Don't be afraid to jump on them. Remember when that happened with VCU when they made the deep run in the national championship? I mean, every year you see a few teams like that, not necessarily just the one big ones that go to the Final Four. All right, what else are you liking, Jim?
I am on Seattle again. Had them last night, taking them again. The Aggies shouldn't be a double-digit favorite against the Red Hawks. They beat the Red Hawks at home 75-62 the first time they met. Rui Duarte asking about Arizona and UCLA. We'll definitely get to that stuff in a second, pal. Jose Ing is against me, says Montana rolls tonight. And then Bruce Ian says, who I believe is Mutt Beast, right? Isn't Bruce Ian Mutt Beast? I believe it's, I don't know.
I don't know.
Says Northern Colorado wins. And then King Rail says, damn, I'm on Montana. So the Aggies shouldn't be double-digit favorites against the Red Hawks. They beat the Red Hawks at home 75-62 the first time they met. The next time they met in Seattle, the Red Hawks won. They won by 10, but it was in overtime. 7'3" Aaron Menzies is a difference maker. He forces the Aggies to play 6'10" Frenchman Jonathan Wilkins, who's terrible. Wilkins is going to have to play 25 minutes in this game. He averages 6.2 points, just 2.8 boards, but they have to have at least one big. The Aggies got their tournament started with 3-29 Chicago State Cougars. That doesn't help. That doesn't help you move. That doesn't help you starting a tournament against maybe the worst team in the nation. Seattle got their tournament started by smashing 15-17 Rio Grande Valley by 17. They were up 39-25 after the first half. I like Seattle here. Double-digit dog. Love it.
Okay, did you tweet that out or what?
No, this is
all right, let's see. And then we're going to get some comments right after this one because we're getting some interesting stuff here. Seattle. So you want Seattle plus the points here.
Yes, Bruce Ian is a Mutt Beast at work.
Okay.
Seattle plus the points.
Plus 11.5, and the best line will be minus 110 at Intertops. Thank you so much, Intertops, for giving us the best line on Seattle over New Mexico State. All right, let's get some comments because there are some interesting comments here coming in. The first one we have to get to is we have to acknowledge and address the king. No, I'm not talking about King Rail. I'm talking about the self-appointed king, Gabriel Rodriguez, right? Gabriel Rodriguez, he says here, the first comment, he says, I love this guy. He goes, yo, bag Loshak ignoring the king referring to himself. Jimmy, I told you don't ignore Gabriel. Please apologize to the camera for ignoring Gabriel Rodriguez. Please apologize to the camera, Jim.
Oh, man, I figure...
Please apologize.
I figured my dick would go about that.
All right, Jim's being Gabriel Rodriguez. I personally apologize on behalf of both of us for ignoring you.
I think we'd end up right about here.
All right. I apologize for both of us for ignoring you. Gabriel Rodriguez says, talk to me nice, Loshak. And then he says, Duke, here we go, but he is coming in with plays. Gabriel Rodriguez, the self-appointed king, right? Self-appointed king. Duke, super over, 51-42 first half prediction. Now, if this one comes anywhere close to that, we will give him a Genius Award or a King Award or something like that. 51-42 first half prediction in Duke in the Duke game. We'll not even hold him to which team is going to have 51. Just if either team, if it's 51-42, yes, no.
We'd like to know who's going to win it.
No, yeah. No, we're going to take that. Gabriel Rodriguez, self-appointed king, who continues to get ignored despite his kingly nature in this show by Jimmy and I. And then his next comment after that is, thank the king later. All right, we shall see. Gabriel Rodriguez, we have apologized. We have acknowledged your play, and we'll see how it turns out. All right, what else do you like here, Jim?
Well, those are the 4 additions. So I'm 3-0. I added Richmond, and I like this Richmond play quite a bit. And then I added, so what are my plays going on? I added Richmond and I added Troy, who's getting destroyed. And then I have 4 additions, right? I've got Seattle plus the points. I got Northern Colorado plus the points. I got the Grand Canyon, Utah Valley under. And I've got the over in Nova. Now, as we've been breaking this stuff down, a lot of people are still on Montana. So, and I understand. They're a great team. #1 team in the conference.
Some people not particularly taken yet with the king. DJ Big Boss says, crown these nuts king. And White Guy Video Games with a more mature slam of the king, of the self-appointed king, says 51-42 with one team playing a 2-3 zone. Good luck with that. Okay, White Guy Video Games not yet won over by the king. And the king also has a bit of a sarcastic comment here. Keep reading. I said fucking Duke. Okay, so now we have it. He certainly does not lack for confidence. This Gabriel Rodriguez fellow. All right, Duke. No. Duke is who he likes. Gabriel Rodriguez predicts the king. Duke 51-42 at the half. We'll see how close he comes. Awesome. I love score predictions. Exact score predictions.
I like it too. Kobe likes the Clemson under team total. Man, I wanted to jump on Clemson. I really did. I even kind of wanted to jump on the over, and I couldn't do that. But I do think that we can put a line pretty much through that 61-36 game. First game Clemson played without Dante Grantham. It was the height of the Cavaliers' defensive glory and the lowest point of the season for the Tigers. And then they picked themselves up after that. They won 4 straight. They went 7-4 the rest of the way. I think they're ready for another shot at the Cavaliers. This is a very low total, and I was just kind of afraid to make a move on this game.
Okay. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? A lot of funny stuff going on in the chat box here. Lucky Luciano says, watch, Gabriel Rodriguez will be right. All right. A lot of interesting games here. Let me just go down and see if there was anything that I wanted to give. Yeah, Kansas State, Kansas, definitely a lean to the under on that one, even though it's a low total of 138. We know Kansas State can play a tight, low-scoring game. Definitely have a lean to the under in that one. Mississippi State, Tennessee. Oh, go ahead.
Well, with the Kansas State game, I mean, with Dean Wade out of the lineup, I believe he's been downgraded. I believe he's not going to start. That is going to affect their offense.
Yeah.
And they have barely any paint presence anyways.
Right.
And so taking him out of the lineup, it's going to twist. It just twisted up the whole capping situation. I think they're in trouble without him. But then we've seen teams come together in these situations, and they do have enough offensive firepower to move forward. Very, very tricky spot. Jeremy M is on Clemson +9, going head-to-head with Maxwell Smart, who likes Virginia here.
That game I'm totally staying off of. I mean, sometimes with elite teams like Virginia in all sports, sometimes I'm just like, you just can't bet against them. But sometimes even when they're like, except for Alabama in football where I would bet on them, I'm not sure if I would put Virginia in quite that category this year as being as dominant as Alabama when they were dominant in football. But this is a classic situation. Don't want to bet against them. Don't want to bet on them. So I'm going to pass.
I hear you. Exciting stuff. Jake Bell has thrown his hat in the ring.
Okay.
Going up against the King.
Oh, shit.
Jake Bell is throwing his hat. Jake Bell says Duke 36. North Carolina 27.
Wow. So he really likes the under in the first half.
And also, I think he disrespects Gabriel's
handicap. Wow. Okay. You know what? I'm going to put on the under in the Kansas game. It's a low total. It's probably going to be close, but I think I like it enough to give it as a play. Under 139 -110. That's the current line at the Greek. Mississippi State, Tennessee. That's a tough one. Tennessee is also a little bit like Virginia. I don't want to bet against them. I don't want to bet on them sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Mississippi State has some mojo to them, but Tennessee is no joke of a team. Might be a good bet in the tournament, right, Jim?
I love Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think Twatty Latte called they're a bunch of dogs, man. They're a bunch of junkyard dogs. Man, what Schofield can do, what Williams can do. So what happens is, one of them's undersized at the 5, one of them has a size advantage at the 4. They're just a nasty team. Now, they trashed Mississippi State last time they played them. But I just feel like the line is a little high. I expect Mississippi State to show a better performance. But I like Mississippi State, and it took a lot to not take them in this matchup. I just think that the line might be a little too high. What do you think?
On what?
Mississippi State, Tennessee.
That one has second half, not even written all over it. That has second half maybe. And I passed on. I didn't make a bet on it, and I'm not going to.
Sandercock, Vols, moneyline, Gators, moneyline. Florida's another team that's really got themselves together. Man, I've been very impressed with their last 3 games. I wasn't sure. They were a questionable team to me, and now they are looking like a juggernaut again.
Man, I'm cashing everything. Even the picks I didn't give nor mention. I had Troy, Georgia State under first half full game. That one's looking great. Richmond, St. Bonaventure first half and full game under. That one's looking fucking good. All right, hopefully I'll have some more cashers here. Then we'll move on to Wichita State. I mean, I agree with you. I'm not sure what's up with Wichita State, but it feels like this is a spot where they know that Temple played them tight this year a couple times, and feels like they're going to, maybe not early, but late. It feels like a -11. Not necessarily a great bet, but a decent bet, Jim.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, definitely a decent bet. I mean, they're a team. They should be better than they were this year.
Yeah.
And when you're capping a team that's kind of underperformed when you expected them to trash teams, it's tough to continue to have faith in them. Now, I expect them to step up moving forward, but I've expected them to step up all season long. So, Enechionia is a tough guy to play against. He seems to step up at times and not at others, which is strange. I'm uncomfortable. I've been burnt by Wichita State this year, and I'm choosing not to get burnt again at this point.
Okay. All right. Then let's see. Moving on. ULM, Georgia Southern. That's another game I bet on the under at 140.5. That one hasn't moved. Not necessarily loving it, but I like it as much as all the others that I've bet, and that is definitely going to be in my leans category, and I like it. Morgan State, NC Central already gave the under on that one. St. Louis, Davidson. What happened. St. Louis won yesterday, although they were getting blown out in the first half. They could get blown out by Davidson here. I'm going to pass on this one. What do you think? Did you look at that game, Jim?
Well, I didn't fully cap the game. I feel like I know both teams pretty well. You know how much I love Davidson's perimeter defense. I love when you have 1, 2, 3 that are 6'4", 6'5", and 6'6", especially in this college game where you can defend the perimeter and push people around. I was very impressed with that comeback. I did not see it coming. In the end, because I know that you were interested, you were going to double up on.
No,
St.
yeah,
Louis.
they were St. Louis was in my leans column first half and full game, so I took a loss on the first half, cashed the full game.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul, but
no harm, no foul. Clark Townsend comes in, says Davidson is a good pick. I was very impressed with the athleticism of St. Louis. They have almost no height, yet they get the boards, and but
kind of like Auburn.
Kind of like Auburn, which kind of like Auburn, man. I got to watch that game tonight and see what happened. What happened to them in that second half? But it's a game I'm thankfully staying off of. There's another game that really interested me today, and I felt it was almost too difficult to cap and to figure out, was Texas Southern versus Prairie Valley.
I took Prairie Valley. Prairie View at plus 3.5, Jim. I did take that one, a plus 3.5.
Wow, that's interesting that you did, because the guys that I run with are on Prairie View. Notre Tota's on Prairie View. I just find it a very difficult game to cap when you're dealing with a team that has had their best two players suspended on and off. And you haven't been able to get a rhythm with these guys. But, the time when Prairie View beat them by 14 and DeMontre Jefferson's not in the lineup, this guy is everything to this team. 5'7" point guard, electric beyond comprehension, 24.5 points per game, 4.3 assists. Now they have Trayvon Reed back. Now, Prairie View has a center, 6'9" center, who's a senior, and he'll be able to battle with Trayvon a bit. I just find it very difficult, and I decided to stay off of Prairie View because of it. Okay,
yeah, it might not be a great play, but I did take it, and I'm not going to take it back. I'll roll with it. It's a
if all you guys are on it, you guys are great. You should feel confident that they're on it. I just felt uncomfortable with this Texas Southern team that's rarely playing with their full complement.
Yes,
of players.
Yes.
So I felt like. It's just tougher to handicap a team like that, so I'm not exactly sure what you're going to get with Texas Southern.
Yeah. All right, moving on down, I am going to take the Nicholls State Stephen F. Austin under 151.5 minus 110. That's the current line at the Greek. Northern Colorado. Jim likes Northern Colorado. A bunch of people also like Northern Colorado. They're a good rebounding team, and if they've turned a corner, they might have some sneak. We might look back on this, and they might get a 10-point win, and we'll be like, wow, damn, those guys really had the edge there. UCLA, Arizona. Again, I'm thinking about the under on that one as well. It's a high total. Arizona might slow it down just a little bit, play some defense there. Grand Canyon, Utah Valley. Jim and I are both on the full game under on that one. I'm on the first half under. San Diego State, Nevada, I'm on the first half under, and the full game under is a lean. Eastern Michigan, Toledo, I'm on the first half and full game unders, and but I've gone on record saying that the lack of line movement in this game towards the under is concerning, because if there was going to be a game where we would expect to see that, this would certainly be one of them, and that hasn't happened. Butler, Villanova, Jim likes the over on that one, and some people are supporting him. Prairie View, A&M, I would have a lean to the under on this one as well. The super high total of 160, and I did to give Prairie View plus 3.5 as an official pick. Arkansas, Florida, probably going to be close, but I took Florida. I took the under 145 in that game as well. Moving on down the line, passing on Davis, passing on the Houston game. North Carolina, Duke game, highly controversial. The King, Gabriel Rodriguez, has given his predicted first half score. He has taken some pushback on that, and we'll see who turns out to be correct. West Virginia, Texas Tech is an interesting game. Once again, I'm thinking first half under here. What do you think about this one? You have anything to say about that one, Jim?
Sorry, there's a debate going on right now about the NBA championship. I got what's the game that you're talking about?
The West Virginia Texas Tech game. I don't know if you looked at that one. Certainly another interesting matchup. Texas Tech healthy now.
Texas Tech is healthy now, and I believe the King had it. Oh, he says, I noticed every time you have that 49ers hat, you always been scared to come on back. You speak in sports knowledge right now. Looking good is getting. That is about the worst. Now, I understand that we're not all English first language, but Jesus, Gabriel, goddamn, take a fucking second before you're going to fucking throw something at me. I noticed every time you have that 49ers hat, you always been scared. Come on back. You speak in sports knowledge right right now, looking good is getting.
Hey, listen.
Jesus, if I had a 7-year-old child who wrote that down, I would slap them across the
Hey,
face.
address the king with respect, Jim.
The king, I don't want to. I'm sure that you mostly have learned or used a different language. I'm hoping. I'm praying.
Address the king with respect, Jim. All right, let's move on. Jimmy the Bag. What do you have anything to say about West Virginia, Texas Tech?
Yes, I do. I like the way Texas Tech is playing, but this is around the time of year when Huggins gets his shit together, where this team starts rolling, and they are rolling right now. It's a tough thing to get in the way of the West Virginia train right now. I like Texas Tech moving forward, but I'm afraid of West Virginia, and I'm staying off of it.
Okay. I was thinking about taking a first half under on that one as well, and I might throw that one on there. It's just that West Virginia's games against Texas Tech went differently than the games against Baylor this year. I like the first half under in that one. The late games at 11:30 and later, I did not have a chance to look at, but my first thought is maybe taking New Mexico again. I had an easy cash with New Mexico last night, and Utah State's a decent team, but my sense is that New Mexico probably rolls again. Seattle, Jim likes Seattle, took them as a double-digit dog against New Mexico State. And Oregon USC, that's another interesting game. I don't have an opinion on that one as yet, but it's certainly interesting, and I certainly will look at it. Jim, you have anything to say about any of the games we didn't mention? Anything you want to get to?
The late games, I'm going to still continue to work on. I find the USC-Oregon game pretty exciting. USC has stepped up without Boatwright, no question. And then Oregon won the kind of game, you win that type of game, you start rolling. That's when teams start rolling, when they can come together and win these games late. I look forward to hammering it.
Interesting shit. Okay, let me see. All right, I guess we can move on. Here's what we'll do. Let's just quickly finalize our look at the 7 o'clock games. There's only 4 of them, and then we'll move on, and then maybe we'll come back if we feel like it. If people want us to keep going about the rest of the college basketball. All right, Kansas State, Kansas. An interesting matchup. I did wind up giving the under on that one as an official pick. Clemson, Virginia, total pass for me. Total pass for Jim. Any of the people that you run with have any picks on this game?
Sorry, which is the game?
Clemson, Virginia.
Yes, of course. Max is on Virginia.
Okay, I mean can't disagree with it.
No, impossible to disagree with. The total is a touchy spot. It's a very, very low total. So Al Mack thinks it's going to go over, and I do think you put a line through that game when they met. I mean, they're different squads right now. It's a tough spot, man.
Then Mississippi State and Tennessee, that's going to be a pass for me. Someone said that Mississippi State has good guard play and that Tennessee might come out a little bit flat here. So I could see a play on Mississippi State in the first half, but even that, I'm just not going to touch this game. And then Temple, Wichita State, man. I mean, it's tempting to take Wichita State at -11. I guess as experienced and as good as Wichita State is, they're still kids. You're still giving 11 points on a neutral site to a decent team, so I guess we're going to have to hold off on that one, right, Jim?
I think so. But King Rail says, stop calling him King. My wife asked, why is everyone bashing you?
King Rail's wife, man. She's already a presence in this show, man. King Rail's wife is awesome. She's like, why is everyone bashing you? And stop betting on college basketball, damn it. How many times do I have to tell you that, Mr. Rail? Stop betting on college basketball, motherfucker. All right, let's see. That is awesome. Man, if I had a girlfriend who yelled at me to not bet on college basketball, I don't even know how I would. My brain would explode. I don't even know how I would respond to that. All right, so let's move on for now to NHL. Just 4 games on the card, but Jim and I did wind up having a lot of picks, and they were sort of in agreement. And I am not copying Jim. I am influenced by Jim, of course, but I definitely am not copying him. We both liked Minnesota. I liked him on the overnight line, and I bet that one. And that line has taken a major move in Minnesota's favor, Jim.
Yes.
In the morning show, I think it was -160 or something on the money line. Now it's up to -180. Jim took him on the puck line. I took him -1, and I also took the over in that game. Anaheim, Dallas. Jim took Anaheim. That line is slightly against him, which is understandable. He took it at +140 in the morning. The best line now will be +144. I took a shot with the Anaheim team total over, as did Jim, and that was on the recommendation of Udom and Ratanafakti. And, of course, if Jim likes Anaheim here, presumably he likes at least a little bit the Anaheim team total over independently. The Calgary-Ottawa game is an interesting one. I definitely took overs in this one. I was leaning that way on the overnight line. I wound up tripling up. I took first period over, full game over, and the Ottawa team total over, and Jim also went with just the full game over. And then Detroit-Columbus, Jim took the Columbus puck line, didn't he?
I certainly did.
What did you get on that one? Like 140?
Plus 150.
Plus 150. Yeah. Okay. So that line has taken a bit of a move in your favor. It's now down to where is it? Let me find it. Hold on a second. It's now down to a plus 135 at Pinnacle. So probably the Greek still has plus 140, but a nice little 10 cent. Oh no, the Greek has 135. So a nice little 15-cent move in your favor on the Columbus puck line, Jim.
Yeah, there were goaltending moves. That's the reason why the lines have changed so drastically. Brent Brooks here, who's killing it in the NHL right now, says Como in net clown shoes. Como has not proven himself yet in the NHL, and it's a tough spot. I guess there's no easy spots anymore. And then the same thing happened in the Canucks game when Nilsson was announced that Anders Nilsson would be in net tonight. And, the Canucks have had questionable goaltending all year. I like where we are. I'm a little uncomfortable with my Ducks play. Everything else I really enjoy. I'm really confident in. I just think there's a ton of value. I basically took the bet for value. We know Dallas plays well at home.
Yeah.
But I think the Ducks are a better hockey team.
Yeah.
And the game against Nashville was a little wake-up call for them. They'd be kind of beating up their opponents, and then a little wake-up call for them. Their offense is clicking. They're going to be an enormously difficult out. We were talking today, someone mentioned on my Twitter how difficult the Kings are going to be to knock out of the playoffs. God, I hope that the Kings don't play the Ducks in the first round. I hope the Sharks play the Ducks so that the Ducks can just knock them out easily.
Nasty Nate asks, why does Pete always jump over NBA to NHL? Nasty Nate, I always choose the smaller card first. That is what you'll see in every single show. The smaller card will always go first. So if NBA has a smaller card, we'll always jump on that one first. All right, El Kid 2 Groove likes Columbus big. G Money NHL Top Shelf says Senators will roll tonight. You heard it here. I hope so, because I took the Senators' team total over, and then Jeremy M laughing his ass off at G Money NHL Top Shelf. Jeremy M says, laughing my ass off. Sens aren't going to do shit. And I agree with you, Jim, on the Anaheim game. Probably there is value on Anaheim, but I'm definitely happier taking the team total over than taking Anaheim, because I could easily see this one being a 4-3, 5-3 type game, something like that. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
Yeah, I hear you. Austin Guy says Stars will kill it tonight. I see the value, but this sets up perfect for the Stars to bounce back. And I don't trust the character in the Dallas Stars dressing room, so I don't actually trust them to bounce back in situations where I would expect other teams to. But I'm not. Dallas is a good team. They're a good team at home, and they're dangerous. And the Ducks are on a back-to-back. We know how difficult that is. They had to really dig deep in that third period just to save face in that game against the Predators. But I just find a lot of value.
All right, let's move on to NBA. There is a big card tonight. The one I hope we weren't too hasty on it, but when I saw the Chicago getting 8 on the overnight line, I just didn't understand it. I was like, all right, I'll take that one. Is that a trap here? Jim and I both took Chicago plus 7.5, and I even threw on the Detroit team total under at 110.5. I mean, the market knows that Detroit has covered like 3 out of their last 22 games or something like that. So the line is where it is for a reason. On the other hand, it did take a half-point dip down, but I could see that just being like big stupid money betting on Chicago here. Why is Detroit getting so many points?
So that's the question. I guess it's because they played the Raptors tough in a situation that we were worried about the Raptors in. I'm surprised. Griffin got 3 rebounds in the Raptors game. He's just loafing around the perimeter taking jump shots. Pistons went 13 for 26 from 3 against a team that went 12 for 40 from 3 and lost that game. They're a bad basketball team, and it's because of their 1, 2, and 3, and the fact that I just don't know why Griffin has to play around the perimeter so much. He's got to go into the paint, and it's not going to work unless he does that.
You know what, Jim? I hate to do this. I'm only going to take this one way, the Detroit team total under. I will stick with that one, but I'm pulling this one, Jim. I don't know. It just makes me nervous. I'm going to pull this one. I'm going to throw on Detroit minus 7.5, minus 108, and that is a hedge out of my play in the morning. It just makes me nervous. The line doesn't make sense. The line movement makes a little sense, but when I look at this line movement, I think, man, this is probably just stupid money taking an underdog. And anytime the public is all over an underdog like that, and the line doesn't have a reverse line movement. And the line doesn't change. Yeah, I just or it changes like this, a half point, makes you very nervous. So I'm pulling it. I'm taking Detroit minus 7.5. Atlanta, Indiana. Guy Goose said that bet of the millennium, the entire 1,000 years that sports betting has been around, is going tonight. and that is the under in Atlanta, Indiana. I don't know what he's seeing, and he liked it at 210. The market doesn't even think that's the right side on the game. It's now up to 211 or 211.5. Holy shit. I don't know. Well, we're certainly make that game interesting now. Wasn't a terribly interesting game before Goose came in and labeled the under the play of the millennium. He liked it at 210. Did you look into this one, Jim? Or what the fuck?
I did. And I initially wanted the Hawks and was kind of talked off of it from the chat. So I wouldn't mind talking a little more about this game with everybody. Some people think the Bulls are tanking. Tomor says Lopez is starting after not playing for weeks. Should be tough to have chemistry. I think he's wanted to be in there. Alert Eddie says Bulls are tanking. And then Melee Payless Ways with me on the Bulls full game. I'm not, this Pistons team can look great in the quarter. They can look great in the half.
Yeah.
But they have not put it together for a full game. I just don't trust them at all. I'm fine with it. It's not a play where I'm extremely confident by any means, but I'd rather have the Bulls and the points than the Pistons in that situation. But I can understand why you would hedge there. In the Hawks game, I wanted to take them. They're coming off a 106-90 loss at Toronto. The score flatters them. They got destroyed. They're just 5-26 on the road. But the Pacers are playing poorly right now, and Oladipo is playing terrible, and they're shooting poorly. And this isn't a great shooting team to begin with. And we're talking about chemistry. What's the chemistry going to be like with Collison back in the lineup? Now the best thing is what Turner said about how it's a game that they've got to take personally, that 20-point loss to Utah. Miles Turner looked great. He went 10 for 14 for 24 points. And he says, we're at home. We just got beat by 20 at our crib. That can't happen. We got to take that frustration into this game. Whether or not they do that is another thing. And, Q Wilson coming in saying Indy versus Atlanta, 8 straight unders.
Okay.
But in saying all this, I am tired of staring at this Hawks plus number and not taking it. I've wanted to take it all day, and I kind of got talked off of it, and I'm not going to get talked off of it again. I'm on Hawks full game.
Okay, we'll give you the best line here. It's 8.5 or 9. A bunch of places have 9. Other places have 8.5. Plus 9, minus 110 is actually a market line right now. So Jim's going to take Atlanta plus the points. Okay, Jim also took the over in the Houston-Toronto game at 220.5. I said I want to wait to see what the line movement is on that one, and the market has spoken about a 1-point move to the under. Now 219.5 will be the best line for the over. That makes me nervous, Jim.
Yeah, it makes me nervous too. Rui Duarte just said that he likes the Rockets team total under.
Okay.
Damian Yankovic has come and said, Jimmy, if you look at the Pacers record without without Collison, I'm pretty confident is crap. I'm a Collison fan. So saying all this, I still like the over enough. I'm concerned about the line movement, obviously, but I still like the line movement enough. Al Mack is working at the ACC tonight. Hopefully he's listening right now. I hope there's a shoot-around going on. Maybe you can give us some inside information. Hopefully the Rockets bus got there late. But I'm into this over. I think there's going to be buckets in this game. I don't see... I think we can run with them. I think the Raptors can run with them. I think they can play. Rui Duarte. Oh, sorry, I misread that. Rui Duarte is on the over.
Okay.
Over Houston team total. Okay. That makes me feel a little comfortable. That when we've come back here and there's been a point or more line movement, I've got killed. But a 1-point movement, I know it's not good, but I'm still going to be comfortable with this over. There is one thing that I didn't add on, and that was the Magic first quarter. And we're not adding it on because of the injuries to Fournier and Gordon. Right? Do you think that the Magic are still going to jump out of the gates without those two?
That game I'm passing on. There was just too much other stuff that I needed to look into. Here's an interesting comment from King Rail about the Blazers game. He goes, I'm a Blazers fan since '82. They will lose too much pressure to win with Curry out and the win streak over their head. But do we have to? Best of luck. Yeah, I'm just going to stick with my play on the under on that one, which I got at 227 on the overnight line, I guess, before the information came out publicly. Jim, there's some second halves in college basketball that are going off right now. Why don't you just talk extemporaneously about the NBA card while I look at some of these second halves? Okay, Jim?
Absolutely. So the Magic is a spot that I'm going to stay off of. The Cavaliers-Clippers is probably the most exciting game on the card and a very dangerous one. Cavs are looking great. LeBron's looking better than he's ever looked. 39 points, 10 assists, 8 boards last game. Why don't we go into this Blazers talk a little more? But Tomor does have a note about Orlando, saying Orlando was extremely angry with how the last game ended. I think they come out with extra energy. I think that's a good call. I think that's a good point. I dig it. Cam Raphael said, I'm waiting for the Blazers money to pour on them, then I'm going to take the Warriors. Tomor says, it's a regular season game, and Portland beat Golden State last time. I don't see any pressure. Rostradamus says, Blazers get zero respect. They have not one but two dudes who can score 50 points in under 3 quarters, yet they're an afterthought. Wouldn't be shocked to see them make a statement here, but I never fade the Dubs. I'm liking getting the Blazers here. I think it's a nice spot to get them in. I understand that the Warriors love showing off when either Curry or Clay or Kevin's out of the lineup, but I don't think it's a ton of pressure on the Blazers. They're on a huge winning streak. I believe that they'll continue to do that.
Okay.
The Knicks Bucks under. I believe the line has. Let's see if that line's moved against me. There was some people who didn't think that the under was a good spot on the early show.
I didn't take the under, but I took the Knicks team total under on that one, expecting just the Knicks to not have it once again on the road here in a game where Milwaukee will be inspired to have a pretty decent defensive game.
Yeah, I'm concerned if the Bucks go small, even though I shouldn't be concerned. I've taken the under. Interesting. Back to that big college Virginia Clemson game. Nicholas Newell comes in and says Virginia beats the shit out of them. Wow. Bill Butler says, Jimmy and Pete, can you help me convince her, me being his girl, to bet her income tax check on the Blazers tonight?
I don't know. A lot of pushback. I would say it's almost 50-50 on that game, based on the opinions in the chat box, Jim, right?
It is.
Yeah.
And it feels like there's even more on the Warriors right now.
No, I mean, there were a lot of people saying that they liked the Portland. A lot of people say it just felt 50-50.
On the early show, I think the Blazers had the advantage. Everyone was talking up the Blazers. But in the late show, I feel like a lot of talk here about the Warriors. But then you go back to Scotty Rock Forever, huge Warriors fan, and he's on the Blazers tonight. And he was the guy saying that they could win out. Very, very tricky spot.
All right, I'm looking at second halves here, Jim. Why don't you continue to steer the ship while I'm looking at second halves here, Jim?
Mr. Cloudkick says Pelicans over 219.5 Dragon Fruit. Roster Drama says can't fade the Rockets right now either, but this is a spot or it'll go 20 plus. Jeremy M says last night Durant showed that he can hit 50 and they still lost. You're absolutely right. CRC says no way. I bet the Warriors. No way. Big Dad says, make a safer bet than the Blazers. Damian Yankovic says, Jimmy, Portland. I heard Clay is carrying a slight knock into tonight's game. And it's questionable to play. I agree. Pedro Barbosa says, Blazers are dropping and losing value. Loki Wizkid says, Golden State game first half under. Tomor says, the Warriors have a shit bench right now with Iguodala's wrist and West banged up. Second night of back-to-backs. I think the Warriors are going to lose here. We saw what happened with their second unit without David West. It's terrible. It looks bad. And Steve Kerr even said that they barely played together. So, yeah, Bart Nelson liking the Lakers here. Isan Solfagari saying, I'm a huge Warriors fan, and I love the Warriors. I don't know. I don't think it's a good spot for them, without question.
Okay, I'm thinking about a shot with the under 77.5. It opened at 78. It's now down to 77.5 in Richmond St. Bonaventure. This is a game that I think is going to be relatively tight into the second half as well. I don't know if I want to make that one official pick. This one could also easily go into overtime, but that's definitely a pretty strong lean for me. Troy, Georgia State, I'm going to pass on, but then we got two minor conference games that are definitely looking tempting here. Why don't you continue on with some NBA talk while I look at these minor conference games? All right, Jim?
Sure.
Okay.
I got a lot of blowback from my under on the Jazz Grizzlies. Jeremy M. Great Capper sent me the reasoning behind why he thinks it's going to go over. A lot of the trends between these two teams would push it over. The Grizzlies' last bunch of losses, they've scored an average of 102 points. But I see a different situation here. I see a Jazz team that's not going to need to speed it up, not going to have any pressure to speed it up. I think they're going to keep the game slow. We see what happens to the Jazz when Rubio is at the point. He controls the pace. He dictates the pace. He won't push the guys when there's no need to. The Jazz got their 3-game road trip off to a nice start with a 104-84 win at Indiana. I think they beat up on this Grizzlies team and then take their foot off the gas. Grizz are coming off a 119-110 loss at Chicago on Wednesday night. Grizzlies lost 15 in a row, worst record in the league, battling a ton of injuries. The main thing is their 3 top point guards on their depth chart are hurt. because of that, I just think they're in a very bad spot. Bart Nelson says, love Jazz Grizzly under. That's what I wanted to hear. Took a lot of blowback on this spot, and let's see if there's been a line change in this play. Man, I hope
Jazz Grizzlies, no, not much. It's still at 197.5 where we took it on the morning show. I gave it at I bet it at 198. We had to take it at 197.5, and it's still there, Jim.
Okay, good. I like this play. I like the Jazz Grizzly under quite a bit. I'm confident in this spot. And Damian Yankovic says, Jimmy, Grizzlies have no point guards tonight. Great pick. I don't know how they're going to play. I almost wish that Andrew Harrison was around because he can play well defensively and not score. But this Grizzlies team is an absolute mess. Chalmers, Harrison, Conley out at the point guard spot. Then you have Chandler Parsons, Jarrell Martin out. They're in a tough spot. Going back to hockey, Melee Payless Way likes Calgary, Ottawa, first period over. We're never comfortable when we're all on the same play, which seems like we're there this evening. We all like this Calgary, Ottawa over 5.5. The line I got on the show was minus 110 or 115. Let me double check. And then when I sent it in right after the show, I got minus 125. So I think everybody's on the same page, which hasn't always worked well. The Gabriel Rodriguez says fast pace tonight, bag over. We'll see. Tomor says, I think Memphis team total under is a solid bet, but I'm not sure Memphis can get stops. You know, Gasol can bang. He can keep it under. Jeremy M. there says, yeah, Jimmy, I can see it going either way. More than likely, they get a comfortable lead and take their foot off. Goose says Jazz all day. Damian Yankovic says, Marc Gasol playing rubbish this year. He probably plays like 20 minutes tonight. Rotate with the young guys. I get it.
You do get it, Jim.
I do. I get it. I think that the Jazz are going to smash the team. And if it does go over, it'll be just them taking the foot off the gas. It'll be a higher scoring fourth quarter. I'm looking forward to this play, this game very, very much. Not quite as much as the over in the Raptors-Rockets game. Can't wait to see these teams match up. I was asked today who I think will be in the NBA Finals, and I love the Raptors very much. And we'll be cheering them heavily. But I see, and I know this is going to take a lot of flack here too, but I see a Houston Rockets, Boston Celtics NBA final, and I don't mind being quoted on that.
All right, this is a borderline play, but I will give it officially NC-A&T and Hampton second half under 81. That one could easily lose, but I'm going to throw it on there. It's a borderline play. I bet it a half unit, and I will take it. Hampton 2H under 81 minus 110. The first half was very high scoring, and it could be high scoring again in the second half, but I think it might sneak under. I think it's probably a decent play, and the Richmond game is now dropped to 77 on the second half, so I bet it at 77.5. I saw that it opened at 78, and that's probably an okay play. It's now at 77. That would definitely be a lean for me, even at 77. Richmond St. Bonaventure second half under. All right, that's it for the second half plays, but I did throw on the Hampton second half under 81 as an official play, even though I don't necessarily like that one more than the St. Bonaventure game, but it's kind of borderline. That'll be an official play for me. All right, Jim, shall we wrap it up? Anything else we want to get to here?
Yeah, there is something. G-Money NHL Top Shelf says, Pete, you still tripping out with that hippie chick?
With the hippie chick? Oh, we there's a lot of plates spinning, a lot of balls being juggled, a lot of shit going on.
Nice.
We'll get to that one maybe at a later date when
Nice.
things we'll get to some if we introduce a story time segment into the summer shows, which we might if things are getting lazy with just the dog days of summer with baseball and WNBA. Maybe we'll have a story time segment in some of these shows, and maybe I'll tell a story or two here and there when appropriate. You know what I'm saying?
I like
Does
it.
that answer the
I like
question?
it. Pete's getting his balls juggled.
No, I'm just saying. Does that answer the question for you, Jim?
It does. It does.
All right, let's move on. What else should we get to here?
Well,
College basketball. What
yeah.
do you think?
Do we want to go one through the late games? I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't hammer in the UCLA.
Yeah. Did you look at that game, Jim?
I haven't. I'm going to do it right after the show.
All right.
I mean, I know the teams. I feel like I know the teams pretty well.
What are your general thoughts on the UCLA game?
Well, the issue is we know what UCLA is going to do. It's about trying to figure out what Arizona is going to do.
Right. What do you think?
I think they come together. I think that's what teams with good teams do when they're dealing with all this adversity. I think they have a me against the world mentality, and I think they come together. But I love the way UCLA has been playing in the second half. So I will. I'm definitely going to take a closer look at that.
What about a shot with the under on that one, Jim?
Oh well, Scotty Rock Forever just said UCLA over right there. A very interesting spot. Yes, I will. If I Chris IG's on UCLA, they've been playing great basketball. Normel's also on the over in the UCLA game.
Interesting shit. All right, yeah. Let's just do one more once over on these late games. Georgia Southern. Did I give that one officially or not? I don't even remember. I guess I will. I should really just give that one. Let me see what the first half under is on that one. Yeah, 63.5, 64. That's cutting it a little bit close, but I don't know if I gave that one, but I will give that one as an official pick. I mean, it would be a lean if I didn't give it, so I'll give that one. I'll throw on the Georgia Southern game under 140.5 minus 115. Georgia Southern under 140.5 minus 115 against ULM. Morgan State NC Central, we covered that one. The Nicholls State game under, I gave that one. UCLA Arizona, it'll be interesting. Leaning under, but I'm going to hold off on official pick on that one for now. I guess we did cover everything, Jim. I guess we pretty much did.
Yeah.
Prairie View. Didn't you say someone you respect likes the Prairie View under as well?
I don't know about the total. Yes, Nostra likes Prairie View.
Okay, you know what? I think we can wrap it up. We gave a whole bunch of picks here, and of course, if there's anything else that Jimmy and I want to add on to our official records, we will tweet them out. I did tweet out a second half play yesterday, the Tulane game. That one cashed. And if there's anything I'm really liking on the second half, I will tweet those plays out as well. And I guess that wraps it up, Jim, right?
Yes, that wraps it up. Another week in the books.
That wraps up the Friday show. Another week in the books, and of course, we come back on Monday. We will have all the assignments for the national championship for March Madness tournament, and we will have the opening lines, which I guarantee you will have made some interesting line movements already by the time the morning show is going, and that will be at 12 o'clock Eastern time on Monday. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.